Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipsters podcast, where I interview founders and co founders, entrepreneurs and artists, executives and stay at home hipsters in crypto and blockchain around the world. And I have an amazing podcast for you today. Let's get to it. And today I have an amazing guest. I can't even believe I'm talking to him because, yeah, you'll find out why. His name is Jeremy Lindblad, and he has a long tradition in the Lindblad Expeditions. So I'll let him talk about that more. But right now, he is the founder of Chibi Dinos. So Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to chat with you.
Awesome. So to kick things off, let me ask you the first question: is what is your background, and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
No, that's a very interesting question. I think the short answer is no, it's not. But we all end up in the place we end up somehow. I grew up in New York City. I, like a typical New Yorker, jumped around a lot when it came to jobs early in the early days. So I ran corporate business development for a company out of London called Quintessentially for a bit. I then joined Mike Bloomberg at his venture capital fund, and I was there for a couple of years helping to incubate and start new businesses. I then left and decided that I really wanted to get into sort of the startup tech scene, and I joined a company called LivingSocial, which was the big competitor to Groupon at the time, and I helped build out their travel platform. And then I ended up back at what was a family-owned business called Lindblad Expeditions, but now it's actually a public company. We took the company public in 14, and I've been there for the last 10 years. And then during COVID, I had some free time. I'd left New York City. My kids and my wife we were all happy in the country, and that gave me time at nights to learn about things and try different things out. And I got very into this NFT and blockchain space, which led me to Chibi Dinos. And just for clarification, I'm not the founder of Chibi Dinos. I'm the CEO, but I was the founder, the two co-founders, Sean Kelly and Ariel Riveros. They brought me onto the project, I think, a week after launch, and it's been a whirlwind since.
Awesome. Yeah, I traveled around the earth a little bit in 2004, backpacked across Southeast Asia and China, and when I came back, I was trying to get a job, and no one would take me. Like, you're not allowed to gallivant across the planet and be employed. And then I walked into the doors of AIG, and they're like, "We like that kind of thing." So
Totally,
it worked out.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
Awesome. So let me ask you this: Chibi Dinos, what is it all about? What makes it really unique?
It gets me too excited when you ask me questions like that. So Chibi Dinos is it was launched as a 10,000 PFP NFT project in August of 21. We have been around now for 8 or 9 months. And the purpose of the project, the characters all come from this funny world called Planet Hoop, and they love to play basketball. The art is great, the backstory is great, the lore is great, and what the end goal always was to create an entertainment brand of which we've developed two. One is actually live in beta right now called Primal Pick'em. The full launch on that will come June 1, and that is the first ever of its kind NFT-backed blockchain prediction game on the sport of basketball. It's the first NFT-backed prediction game ever built, and it was actually created for us by the brains that developed both NBA Top Shot as well as the game FIFA, a guy named Santi who works for a company called Game On in Canada. And we're incredibly proud about that game. We have our arcade style user controlled basketball game called Primal Hoop that's coming out most likely mid-June, early July. We're currently playing that internally. It is super fun, incredibly engaging, sticky. And what we are basically going to be the first to market in the blockchain gaming space to have something like a user-controlled arcade-style sports game. And the world in which we're developing, the earning potential as well as the fun potential, they're both huge, right? So I'm not just creating blockchain games so that people can spend hours a day trying to make money. We're creating games that people are going to love, and it just so happens that there is an earning potential on the back end.
I'm curious about that user controlled games. It's around basketball. What does the user control mean? 'Cause I read in, on ESPN recently that a couple players are looking to be part of a user controlled league, and I don't really understand. So what does that mean? What is that all about?
Yes. So when I say user controlled, I mean in the sense that the individuals playing actually are controlling the characters. So I don't know if you remember games like NBA Jam back in the day, but it's a video game where all control is in the hands of the individual playing. It's not a turn-based game or an AI game. So it's user controlled. It's an arcade style game. So it is the first of its kind in the blockchain space. So again, we're trying to create really fun games that people will spend a lot of time playing. And we've built an economy on the back end where they can earn by playing these games, which is super cool.
It is. It is. Play to Earn's gone through its transformation, I guess. From the early days of, I think it started in 1975. Actually, Play to Earn, and it's changed. How has it changed since the early days, and why should people be more involved?
Yeah, so we've created an internal currency called the Hoop token. The Hoop token will launch in a matter of weeks, and that is a governance token within our ecosystem. So that will be used for everything from giving you access to making decisions about what we do with the company to buying gear assets that you can use in the game to buying land in the adventure game that we're going to be building. And that currency is also what you'll be receiving, a form of that currency when you play the game and you win the game. So, at this point, take our primal, it's called Primal Pick'em, our prediction game. If you spend 15 minutes a day choosing, I think we now are going to have about 5 different slips. So you pick a game in the NBA, WNBA, Puerto Rican Basketball League, whatever it might be, and you choose the right outcomes of that game. Who's going to win? Who's going to score the most points? Who's going to have the most assists? You have the opportunity to earn quite a lot of money in a very short period of time. So that the ability to do that has completely revolutionized the play to earn gaming space. Especially now that the games are fun. Back in the day, most of the games were, again, they were very grindy. People would spend hours and hours and hours doing simple, mindless tasks in order to gain certain points, which you then could trade in for currency. This is a completely different style for doing that.
Awesome. So you have, you have pretty solid, high-profile ambassadorships and partnerships. And how I think I want to quote you here. They show us, he said, they show us effectively as a defiant and strong pick to outlast the current global economic market downturn. Yeah, a lot of cryptos haven't so far. So what makes you defiant and that strong pick?
You know, I I think what we're building is more than first off, we built this company for longevity and for sustainability. We're in this for 5 to 10 years, not 1 to 2 years. We only sign agreements and partnerships, and for example, take our NBA players that are working with us. We've got now 3 fully signed, very big name NBA players that are in long deals, like significantly long deals in the world of crypto, where we're building for success in the long term, right? What's happening in the markets is not going to change the number one, the viability of our game in that it's so much fun and it isn't determined by the markets. Our NFTs, of which the game is based off of, are actually sitting they seem to buck market trends too. I mean, we're 2 times above the original floor price during this market, where we've seen after 9 months, where we see most projects go the other way, especially in a bear market. So I think that we've got a very large team. Some people think too large. We have 22 full-time staff now. Our team is here for the long term, and we believe in building sustainable products that aren't at the whim of the market. And I think that that's a different way to think about this. Not a lot of people think about it that way in this space.
You're right, and I've seen a lot of games fail during the bull market. So that sustainability, why should founders view the NFT, in gaming, crypto? I guess I want to call them crypto rabbit holes, right? But they're really sub sectors, not as rabbit holes, rather something that should be, should offer the world, world-class experiences. And I know you've focused on that in your career. Why is it important to provide world-class experiences and then marry that with sustainability?
Yeah, if you think about what we're capable of doing in the Web 2 space, right? So if you take Lindblad Expeditions, or if you take Quintessentially, or any of the companies that I've worked for in the past, those companies bring you and give you access to, via the exchange of money, incredibly cool things in this world. What Web3 has given me personally is the opportunity to create that loyal community of clients. Call them clients if you want to call them investors, whatever you might want to call them, and give them the opportunity to enter into an experiential universe that not only exists physically. So, for example, we're going to be hosting a really fun event actually in New York in June, where all of our NBA player ambassadors are coming. So this digital community can give you access to world-class experiences like that, as well as on the blockchain, which is a pretty mind-blowing thing. The ability to bridge that gap between the Web 2 and Web 3 space, and the in real life to digital world, is super fun. Like, for example, we have all of our merchandise is going to be available in real life format, right? So you can actually wear the stuff, but you'll also be able to equip your characters in our games to wear the same things, and you own that both digitally and in real life. It's a fun world to play in, because we get to test the bounds and try out new things and be as creative as one can be. And if things don't work because they've never been done before, and that's okay. We just like to keep pushing the envelope there.
Yeah, I doubt people will want to wear my clothes in real life or in the digital world, but but I'm not that stylish. So, and is that part of your event, part of the NYC NFT?
Exactly. So I'm speaking at NFT NYC. Our founder Sean is speaking at NFT NYC. My director of marketing speaking at NFT NYC. They're very excited to hear more about Chibi Dinos. So we'll be speaking there. Plus, we're going to be hosting a very special event, and our community. You can find us on Discord, obviously, and you'll find out more information about that event.
Great. So let's shift gears a little bit. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay. And we recently saw some tragedies, and just a week, with the shooting at an elementary school, and then previous week a shooting in Buffalo, and we've had, a lot of events so far this year, centering around violence, right? My question to you is, why, no matter how bad things, may seem in the current moment, why should people view their life journey as an expedition and not as a panic room? And how do they get there?
It's a very thoughtful question, by the way, and thank you for that. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough, very long time, but this week especially, I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my wife was actually traveling this week for work, and I was terrified even just taking them to school. And I know that sounds silly, and I know that we can't live our lives that way, but it's tough. The world is a scary place sometimes. That being said, we need to be out there and experiencing things. The second that we don't look each other in the eyes, run past each other in the streets, ask each other questions, and we stay in that quote unquote panic room that you were referencing, the chance for having mental issues exacerbated have to increase. I would think. I'm not a doctor, but I know for myself, if I get it too in my own head and I do not share things with people and experience things and be outdoors, to be completely honest, I know things get worse for me. So life is 100% an expedition. The longer that we can ride that trip, I think the better that this whole world will be, because shared experiences are important. Trying new things is an important thing to do, and being a human being that sees other human beings and reacts with other human beings is incredibly important. So, and again, my hearts and prayers go out to anyone that's affected with these issues. And what we've seen in America, at least, is pretty appalling in terms of how we respond to it, personally speaking.
I'll share the same sentiment. And you know that you brought up two words there. You brought up shared experiences, right? How can the shared experiences lessons, from what you've done in your career and now from Chibi Dinos, how can the shared experiences make a difference when in crypto and gaming and community building?
It's pretty amazing. I look at our Discord channel. So we have 100,000 followers on Twitter. We have a community of about 22,000 on Discord. So shared experience don't necessarily have to be in real life, right? There are ways in which you can have those shared experiences digitally. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is to see if my kids are awake yet. But then once I do that, I hop on Discord and I notice the kindness and the excitement that people have just to tell each other good morning. I think when things go wrong, the ups and the downs, when somebody has a really big win in something, we had somebody who recently graduated and shared a graduation photo in our Discord, and it's like the whole community was with open arms sharing as much love as possible. And then when something in crypto, like when Luna crashed, my chief financial officer lost 90% of his money right there. And there were a lot of people in our community that had the same thing happen. And what's amazing is to be able to lean on other people, both in real life and especially if you've got a safe digital space like our Discord community. Having somebody that you can relate to means everything, and having somebody that can give you an opinion on something that you might not have even asked for, it can be valuable at times.
So that Luna experience, guys, that was brutal.
Lots of people got absolutely wrecked. I mean, terrifying.
Yeah. So what lessons did you learn for the future of safeguarding money that people should also follow, like for security purposes?
Yeah, well, first off, I think that having a diversified portfolio always makes sense. Those that don't can find themselves in very tough situations if things go south. I don't really have much advice on that. I think about our project, and I wonder why so many people have spent so much time, effort, money, and devotion to what Chibi Dinos is. And I think a lot of that stems from leadership, right? We've got an incredible team. I've got 6 executives with probably 150 years of executive experience at the top with me. We are very transparent. We're in a world where being fully doxxed is not a real thing. Everyone has my cell phone number in my community. So I think when making investments, if you know, and if you have, if you believe in the founders and the people and the vision of the people that are leading that, that's probably a good bet.
That sounds good. And experience in what you're doing as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I take, I've had investors ask me why they should believe in Chibi Dinos, because I did not come from a Web3 or a crypto background. And to be honest, I'm not building a Web3 or just a crypto company, right? That is a major part of what we do. But my experience, the experience that I bring into this space comes from years of doing so many different things. And if we were only going to be a crypto company that only focused on what the markets were doing, I probably would not be the right person to lead. I can tell you that I've found incredible people in the crypto space that work for us. I've got incredible advisors, but diversified experience means a lot, especially in a project like this. And if we were just a meme coin or an altcoin, first off, I wouldn't have any interest in running those things, so I wouldn't be here. What we're building is much larger than that. I mean, I can't even get into the details of it, but like, we've got a toy line coming out. We're looking at an episodic series. We've got 3 fully developed comic books that are ready to go. We have a full line of merchandise. We have 2 video games. We have our own token. There's a lot in this ecosystem that if I was just a crypto guy, I would not have been able to do.
That sounds amazing. It really does. It's awesome. I didn't realize you had a whole entire line coming out like that, but that's got like a lot of traditional companies don't do that either. So that's awesome.
We need to focus sometimes. But the thing is again, if you surround yourself with really intelligent people that work incredibly hard, you can focus on multiple streams of excitement and fun, which is what we're currently doing over here.
So let's talk about excitement and fun. You spent considerable time christening ships, right? What lessons can you share with those who are afraid to break into this new paradigm, this new Web3, this new gaming situation, a crypto blockchain, how to christen their participation, right? How and why should they get involved, and especially with Chibi Dinos?
I think number one is people should read and listen, gather as much information as possible, and there's we have a finite amount of time on this earth, and it's our greatest asset, right? People talk about their bank accounts all the time. They should really be thinking about the minutes that they have in a day to do things. And if after reading and educating yourself, you believe that the concept of what Web3, what blockchain means to the world, and you think that's interesting, once you learn about it, then I would find a very, very friendly community like the Chibi Dinos community to get your feet wet and really understand what the creator economy, what this digital friendship, what this sense of digital community really means in this space, and then see if you like it. Again, even if you didn't know about blockchain or crypto, like, you'll be able to have access to our brand through many different venues, whether that be on the television, whether that be at a store buying one of our toys, whether that be reading one of our comic books, or just playing the game for fun. I don't think that Web3 is the most important thing when it comes to our business, but it does offer a very cool community and it's a great learning process. So to answer your question, I think people that are interested in this space should, number one, go and educate yourself, listen to podcasts and read as much as possible, and then slowly enter into the market, right? I think people go all in not knowing enough about whether or not they're even going to enjoy the process of being involved in a project like ours. And I can tell you, the more involved in the project you are as a consumer, the more fun you're going to get out of it, and the more money you're going to make in the long term.
I agree. I do have people who I have acquaintances with or friends with from many years who reach out to me and ask me to tell them what to buy. And I said, this is what I want you to do. Read the Satoshi white paper, and then keep reading it over and over again until you start to understand it. And then I give them a list of a few other books to read. And it's like, you haven't helped me yet. I'm like, yes, I have.
Totally. I've had people come up to me online and in person saying that they're very interested in our project and they want to invest money. It's a significant amount of money into it. And the first thing I make them do is I say, no, go read our white paper and read it multiple times, right? Like, you need to know that and really understand what it is that you're getting involved with, because it's going to be more enjoyable for them in the future. if they do that, right? It's very easy to throw money at things. It's very hard to be engaged with what that money's doing for you. And that's a much more, I can tell you from personal experience, that's a much more interesting and fulfilling prospect. Is being in, I mean, if I had, I invest in the stock market too. I don't invest in companies that I know nothing about. I want to be a consumer of theirs. I want to know their products. I want to know who their CEO is. I want to, participate in voting. I want to do all the things that make sense to me as an investor. Passively investing isn't interesting to me. And we at Chibi Dinos give you the opportunity to be very involved. I take phone calls with my customers all the time, which is fun. Makes it more fun for everyone.
So what you're saying is if people don't have conviction, they're not going to stay in the game.
I think you said that much clearer and better than I did. Yes, exactly. And that conviction comes in many different ways. It's not just time. It's understanding and learning. And people always need to be learning.
Agree. So I want to thank you for an amazing conversation today. I really enjoyed speaking with you. And I have one final question now. How can people find it? How can people find out more information about you, about Chibi Dinos, to participate, join your community? How can they do that?
Well, listen, it's been a real pleasure talking to you as well, and I love speaking with folks like yourself who care about their listeners and give them an experience that they wouldn't get elsewhere. So yes, to learn more about Chibi Dinos, the best place to go would be to our website, which is chibidinos.io. That's CHIBIDINOS.io. And there you can find links to our Twitter, to our Discord, to our OpenSea collection, sneak peeks of the games. You can do all the fun stuff from there.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Take care, bud.